So, Andy, what does it take to be successful in sales?
I think it takes a number of things, Justin. I think, first of all, it takes the right mindset. I think there's been a whole, especially over the last few years, there's been this whole kind of way of thinking around, oh, sales is bad, salespeople are bad, the scum of the earth, etc., etc. And I think for me, I can hear people laughing because you're going, yeah, that's true. I think for me, the distinction I made was bad salespeople are bad. Bad selling is bad. Bad real estate people are bad. Recruiters are bad. Bad financial services are bad. If you're bad, you're bad. It's not that you're in sales. It's just, I think, the problem is most people have had an experience of being sold to badly. So they don't feel comfortable or confident selling themselves because they remember the bad experiences they've had and said, I don't want to do that to someone else.
Yeah.
So I'll just put up a website. I'll tell people about what we do. I'll go out and visit people or tell people over the internet or via phone call what we do. And, if they like it, they'll buy.
Yeah.
And in today's marketplace, people need a bit more help in making decisions than just kind of, we'll educate people on what we do. Education's everywhere. We can find all the information we need on the internet these days. There needs to be a step further than that, and that's the place for the salesperson.
So, this is so true. And when you look at professions, salespeople are ranked as pretty much on the bottom of the list. I think it's just above lawyers in terms of trust. And I don't say that with any disrespect to salespeople or lawyers in the room, but perception is often not reality, but that's the perception. And to your point, I had a client who literally said, Justin, please do not mention the word sales. Yeah. And guess what? He was the sales manager of a sales team. So we've got a block here. If you are in sales and you've got your sales manager going, sales is bad, that's going to create some conflict. So I guess we need to embrace what? The fact that we are in sales?
Yeah.
Or how would you deal with that?
Yeah, and I think that almost links to a question I was asked just before Christmas. Somebody said to me, Andy, I'm thinking of changing my job title on my business card. What should I change it to? And I said, what is it now? And he said, sales manager. I said, well, what do you think about that? He said, well, when I first got it a year ago, I was really proud. I was really happy to be a sales manager. I was in management. I was managing. It felt really good. But now I don't feel very good about it anymore. So I'm thinking of changing it to customer relationship experience manager. I said, what on earth is a creme? That's short for crematorium, where you burn your body when you die in the UK. I said, that's not really a good experience. And it was just, because he'd been in front of people so many times now, he'd had a lot of rejection, he was feeling that actually it was the name on his business card, his job title, and having the word sales that was causing the rejection. And I was like, I'd rather the opposite be true, and you go out and be proud to be a salesperson. Because I would say, I'd get in my selling days, one of the top salesperson in the country for an office supplies and printing company. I'd get grief and hassle from the printers, the guys making it. I said, listen, mate, just get it done because I'm paying your wages. In a nice way, what I meant by that was the salespeople go out and they're actually earning the money, which enables everyone to earn money and be paid in the entire business. If it wasn't for the salesperson, perhaps the other people wouldn't have a job. So I want people to embrace the fact they're in sales, be proud they're in sales. And it's difficult, Justin, because there are some membership bodies in the UK now, particularly and around the world for sales, but it's generally an unregulated profession. There isn't, you can't go to university and get a master's degree in sales, for example. Right. So it's very hard to be regulated and get that sort of qualification thing going. So it's more about the ethics and manner of the salesperson. Okay,
so first we've got to embrace the fact that we are in sales. Let's not hide that. That's that we are. But we need to come in with a different approach, and that would be?
So for me, it's about personal ethics. And this is where the difference is between good salespeople and bad salespeople. For me, a good salesperson, or what I call a standout salesperson, is somebody that always has the best interest of the customer in mind. So that, for me personally, I would never sell somebody to someone else where my product or service is not the best option for them. So the standout salesperson will find out very early in the process, is this the right fit for that person? And if it isn't, they move on and talk to other people. When the salesperson's desperate, they're newer, they're perhaps not following the standout selling process, they'll generally try and sell it to everybody. So they're almost trying to force something on someone they don't want. And I think we've probably all had that experience of being sold to. We're trying to get out of the situation, we're feeling awkward, and the more somebody's telling us how great their product or service is, or what they need to buy now, or here's a special offer to buy by the end of the month, it feels kind of weird, creepy, and it creates that experience in us. So we go, I definitely don't want to do that to other people.
So you really want to ensure that salespeople are going out there to serve. They've got the client's interests right up front. That's what it's about. And if you do that effectively, then the sales will follow. It's the repeat business, right?
Yeah, and I think for me, it happens in sales. Sometimes it happens the opposite way, where the buyer is in control and all the salespeople run around after them. For me, it's a partnership of equality. The salesperson is just as important as the buyer, and we're trying to find a solution that works for both parties. It solves a problem or creates benefits for the customer, and it generates a sale, generates salary, generates commission for the salesperson. So it's about, I hate to use the old cheesy win-win, but it's about finding a solution that fits for both parties. And the good salespeople, if it's not going to be fit early on, they identify that and move on to find other people that it does fit with.
I've had the privilege of working with you a number of times, and certainly one of the things that strikes me about what you do is that you are incredibly rigorous. You've got great depth of information, and so you do a lot of training as well, don't you? I mean, really getting into the nitty-gritty, but also, of course, a fiery and entertaining keynote too.
Yeah, I worked out, I was coming up to Christmas and just tweaking my material as I do every year. I now have 180 hours of material to train people to be standout salespeople.
So you would then really be able to take anybody's business and focus in a solution, exactly, practice what you preach, and make sure that you're not just giving a standard sales program, but you really are tweaking it to what they need.
Yeah, and I think this is a challenge that I'm seeing globally now with a shift in sales training. Years ago, so when I started my business 14 years ago, most big companies would do residential sales training programs. You go to a Canon or a big kind of photocopy manufacturer, a big pharmaceutical, and you start a job there as a salesperson. You'll have a month of training. They'll take you away for residency, residential training. You'll go for a month to do all that training with you. Now that generally doesn't exist. So what you find is that a lot of people out there that have kind of learned to sell their own way, and whilst that will get them results to a degree, what feels criminal to me is actually there's so much more they miss out on. And most salespeople I meet, there's not many salespeople that stay in sales very long if they don't work hard. So there's not many people that are just doing an hour a day or something. They're generally working quite hard. They're getting results that are kind of okay, but what they could get is massive. And that's the kind of stuff that I do, is adding into a salesperson that's already doing okay or quite well, and really kind of maximizing the results.
Andy Preston, all the way from the United Kingdom, great to have you with us.
Thanks, Justin.